we've reached the final part, but not a short part, because we have a lot of different speakers coming up now. So what actually I would like you to answer here is go on to Slido, please. Once more, getting everyone active so that we are fully concentrated on the next case. Because the question is, have you ever heard of data mesh? Yes, no, not sure. Ooh, someone is very motivated. Yes, 75%. Oh no, it's going down, 57. I was already getting too excited. But 50% are yes. No is becoming smaller and smaller, but nevertheless, it is still there. I mean, above 40%. So that's what this whole session will be about. And first, let me ask, he will be coming on my side here, Philipp. Perfect. Thank you, Philipp. Philipp Eigner is with us at Accenture. And for those of you who don't know data mesh, those 40+%, but also for those that do know data mesh, he will be explaining a bit what we think about this concept, what he has also seen. He has worked with many different organizations in different data setups and has really looked into data governance and data mesh. So Philipp, the floor is fully yours. And then later, so please stay tuned, everyone that is live with us, because there will be a panel afterwards where we'll be digging in more. So Philipp, floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. Hello, welcome, Philipp Eigner. I'm 5 years with Accenture now and have over 12 years of professional experience mangling with large data landscapes. And I'm hopefully can give you the 40% that we heard that never heard of data mesh, give you a quick glimpse of actually what data mesh means. So basically where we are coming from. Yeah, when we are talking about data landscapes, we came from old data warehouses, data lakes. These are landscapes that basically have one common data pipeline. So from ingest to curation to actually consumption, everything is in one pipeline. Yeah, and mostly this is IT driven. Yeah, so the IT is the owner of the pipeline, does the data management and all of these things, and this is therefore the actual bottleneck in the middle. Yeah, so a lot of the time within these models, we are actually not utilizing the actual knowledge of the SMEs, of the data producers in the beginning. So the people who are actually, for example, using the CRM system or doing with the claims management and so on. Yeah. And very little to this is going then to the actual outcome. Yeah. And we have now the game changer to this. So like we have, for example, a few years back introduced the microservice pattern within the normal software development, and the actually equivalent of the microservice pattern to the data landscape is the data mesh approach. Yeah. So to come actually a little bit more. So one thing, and if this is the only thing that you may take from this talk, is very important. Data mesh is not the pure technical concept. Yeah, it's a so-called socio-technical concept. So it both considers the technology and the actual organization change that needs to happen in order that it will work. Yeah. So if you are talking about, for example, a data lake or a data warehouse, then you can buy a specific product that actually delivers you this. A data mesh is not one set of products; it's a common setting of different products. Yeah, and if we are talking about it, core principle clearly is data, but then the next big thing is actually that we are talking about distributed domain-driven architecture. So meaning small teams that have highly knowledge about their specific data domain, yeah, are working together. So also data engineers, people from the business, people that might create the visualization, maybe some data scientists on the one hand side, they are working together in these small teams, and actually producing this data product. And this is also another one thing, the product thinking. So I actually create a data product, yeah. So something that has a life cycle, something that has a backlog, yeah, something that has actually some release cycles, and also it has some kind of monetization. So this doesn't mean that you have to sell it to anybody, but it has to bring value to the company, yeah. And you also should measure it, yeah. And of course, so maybe for somebody from the IT department especially, what brings what is the actual benefit for the IT is that they can provide a centralized platform that provides these self-service capabilities. So actually ensures these little teams that are working on the data products to work on this stuff, having a self-service experience, and therefore being able to deliver things faster and without any additional service costs. So when actually, data mesh was invented by Zhamak Degami, yeah, in 2019. So it's a relatively young topic. She even released the first real book on data mesh this year. So you can buy it, I think, since end of May, or yeah, so at least on the German markets. And she first formulated those 4 principles, yeah. And basically, if we're going further, what brings us these 4 principles? Yeah. So what offer they value-wise? Yeah, value-wise, we have this reduced operational costs. Why we have reduced operational costs? We're working in smaller teams. Everybody experienced this maybe. If for all of a sudden you have had these big projects, maybe on the data warehousing side, where you had always this gyro ping pong and so on, and finally sitting teams together in one single room, and all of a sudden within days you solve problems that before have been stretched over months. Yeah. Data management, same again. Team is getting together, SMEs are there, so people are knowledgeable about the data, can quite quickly and better resolve the issues. Good. What we said also with increasing the time to market, yeah. Again, small teams, they have a self-service capabilities on the platform, so which then allows them to do things more quickly, more agile, in a better environment. Good. And of course, the product thinking, yeah. So how I can improve my data product and so on, yeah. So this is actually a data mesh on a very high level, and it's a very confusing graphic for most people, but it's actually quite easy, yeah. We have here our data products, yeah. If we're talking about a data product, then this is something that sits in a data domain. For example, a data domain can be source derived, yeah. So saying, okay, I have a CRM system, and then I have there my campaign data as a data product, yeah, for example. And this campaign data can then somebody from with a data science background utilize in another data product, saying, okay, how successful was my campaign? How successful I'm actually by running certain channels, for example. This is the idea and concept, having these small packaged things that basically but have also, again, all of the steps that you usually would have in this world before. So for example, you see here, again, we are having source data, we again going to an ingestion process, we again doing a curation of the data model, we again then basically providing this API access or database access to somebody else who then uses the data. And we also have to collect metadata. But within our model, we have these little teams that are all working on different kind of data products, but they have to follow these things in a way that the framework basically provided by IT is actually dictating this. So they have to use a certain data catalog, they have to use a certain data tagging and so on. Yeah. So by governing this from a self-service perspective, it really works out that these things are interacting with each other. Yeah? And that's basically the benefit of it. Yeah. So, coming already to our final slide. So, you might ask, is this already something that is highly in use? Yeah, we have to say we have currently about 8+ clients where we implement some parts of the data mesh principles. Yeah, and what we would call data mesh implementations. Yeah, so this is in the region in ASGR. Yeah, and currently even ThoughtWorks, the guys who invented this, you know, Semak Tagami, a few slides back, they say they are still in a somewhat trial period. So I checked this state today. It's still in the trial period. Yeah? But it's, of course, it's 3 years after the concept, but it's definitely the way forward because it's, as I said, the microservice pattern for data. And we all know the microservice pattern is now settled totally in IT, for example. Yeah? And just by having a look on Medium, we have now tripled the times of articles already about data mesh in 1 year before. Yeah. And we have companies like Google with Dataplex or Lake Formation with AWS taking on that. So that shows you already, okay, this is something that's probably here to stay. And yeah, the big ones are utilizing it already. And now I think we have here a few people that already went through that fire of implementing a data mesh, and I therefore hand over to Lucas, and I think we can start the panel discussion.